Hey guys, what's up? It's munclesonkey, and it is September, so in the spirit of school coming back into session, I am doing top 10 AFK methods on RS. I hope to show you guys in this video 10 ways to train your skills that you possibly didn't know about or possibly just didn't know were so AFK. I left out the really obvious ones. The ones that have been left out are runecrafting is left out because the entire skill is AFK, and fishing and fire making are left out really for the same reason. All you do in that skill is AFK, and it doesn't really get much more AFK from one method to the other. Yes, there are a few fish that are slower to catch and are more AFK than others, but you understand my point. So those three skills will not be included, but I tried to find 10 good ways to AFK and also get some decent experience while you're working on homework or classes or whatever. Also, a lot of these clips will have guides associated with them. If you want to know more information on the topic, there will be a link on the screen to go to those guides if you'd like to see them and find out more about them. I won't be pointing these out though during the video itself because it might get annoying after a while, but if you want to know how to do a specific thing and there's a guide available, just click on the link on the screen and you'll go to that guide. Number 10 on this list is going to be the Slayer skill, and the only reason why Slayer is so low on this list is Slayer is very variable. There are some tasks that are completely 100% AFK where you have to click only a couple times the entire task, and there are a lot of tasks that also you can't AFK at all. So it really just depends on what task you have. For example, if you see in the clip in the background here of Black Demons, if you have this task, I have done this task personally clicking 3 times for the entire task. No joke. So it is possible to really AFK this task up. Some other tasks that come to mind are like Dark Beasts, Dagannoths, Water Fiends, stuff like that. Basically any monster that's fairly close together in a tight space and where you don't have too much problem with, avoiding death, you'll be able to use Revolution and the Chain ability for magic or the Ricochet ability for range to get a whole bunch of monsters attacking you, and then you can just AFK it up with Auto Retaliate and the Revolution, of course. However, there are a lot of tasks that you just can't AFK. So Slayer, it just depends on what your task is, whether you can AFK it or not, and that's the only reason why it's so low on the list. Number 9 on this list is Thieving, and Thieving dropped all the way down to number 9, even though this method is extremely rewarding in both terms of XP and also how little attention it really takes, but it does require clicking, and it also requires some fairly high stats. You need level 90 Thieving to pull this off, and also the exoskeleton armor as a reward from the Plague's End quest is not required, but it's highly advised because it helps a lot. And what you'll be doing is doing Dwarf Traders. If you go on World 48, there's a whole bunch of people there. If you're not on World 48, you can attack the guards that are wandering around, lure them into the rooms and close the door behind them, and then they can't get at you. But the reason why this is a situational AFK is because you do have to click, you just don't really have to pay attention to the screen. You can look at the screen like once per minute and you'll be completely fine, and just continue clicking on the guards. Also, you will be stunned a lot of the time, so you don't have to spam click or anything. You can just click once every few seconds, so you can watch TV or, I don't know, watch your homework assignment, which might be a movie of some sort, and go ahead and click away with Thieving. Very similar to Alkene in terms of kind of AFK, kind of not. Number 8 on this list is Herblore, and out of all these things on the list that are guaranteed to be AFK, this one is probably the least AFK, as it only takes about 25 seconds or so to clean a whole inventory of herbs, so you don't get a whole lot of downtime where you're actually able to look away from the screen. However, if you're doing schoolwork or watching a movie or something that doesn't require a whole lot of attention, you can still do a fairly regular amount of clicks. You might want to try cleaning herbs, especially if you're low on money. This is really only advised for people that don't mind taking time to train Herblore and really don't have a whole lot of cash to spend, but are more motivated to just AFK it up rather than making money for Herblore. So again, probably not the best method for most people. However, if you'd like, cleaning most herbs will actually profit you, and some of the higher level herbs such as Torstools or Fellstocks can be upwards of 50k plus XP per hour as well. So number 7 on this list is Divination, and the main reason why Divination didn't fall into the same category as the skills such as fishing or fire making, where it's always AFK and never really changes, is because of one item, and that is the Nightmare Muzzpa pouch. You do need 81 summoning to use this little guy, but if you do have that, you can summon the pouch, and you'll have an extra 30 spaces in which to store memories. So the first 30 memories you harvest from Wisp will go directly into the Nightmare Muzzpa, and then the rest will fill up your inventory. So it's having like another inventory in which to harvest wisps before you have to deposit the memories into XP or energy and XP, whatever you're doing. So Using the Nightmare Muspuds really increased the AFK ability of Divination, and I would highly recommend them. It makes Divination much more fun to train, and although they do cost a fair amount, they're about 70k a pouch or so in the GE, you will make all the money back through the energy that you harvest. Number 6 on this list is mining, and yes, I am aware of the fact that at lower mining levels, mining is not AFK at all, and to tell you the truth, it really kind of sucks. But when you get to higher level mining levels, it's one of the most AFK skills in the game, and also, in my opinion, one of the most enjoyable. So if you have at least 68 mining and you have completed the Dwarven questline up through the King of the Dwarves quest, you can come on World 71 to the Lava Flow mine. If you've done the quest, you'll know exactly where it is, and you can just mine the lava crust. It's not great XP. If you have a dragon pickaxe and an obsidian titan summoned, it can get up to about 48k XP per hour. However, you do want to do this on your way to level 80 mining, where you go to the living rock caverns, because you'll get your golden mining suit from doing this activity, and also it's much easier than mining iron or granite or something like that. This is a little bit slower than those other two methods of training, but much more enjoyable, definitely. You can mine 10 crusts before you have to switch spots, so that's about a minute or two of AFK. And then once you get level 80 mining, you can come to the living rock caverns themselves. Hopefully you'll have your golden mining suit by now, and you can mine the living rock cavern gold deposits, which give really good XP. I found while using a rock crushing scrimshaw, while using a titan, and also while using a dragon pickaxe, while using the world hopping method, and you just drop all of the gold ore with your action bar, it's not worth banking it. It's much better XP if you just drop it. I found this is up to about 110k XP per hour max. That's at level 99 mining, but still that's really good XP. So you just mine the ore and you get a solid few minutes of mining, and once the deposit collapses, you just hop worlds on your friends list really easy and really AFK. Next up on this list is ranged, and the great thing about ranged is you can get some really good XP and also charms while doing it. The bad thing about ranged is it is kind of expensive, and also depending on what level your cannon is, it might not be super AFK. If you just have a normal cannon, you can only store 30 cannonballs in it, so that's not very long before you have to recharge the cannon with cannonballs. However, if you've done some of the Artisan's Workshop, which might be coming up later in this video, hint hint, you'll be able to store up to 90 cannonballs in it with the Royale cannon, which is much more AFK. So you just want to hang out kind of underneath your cannon, and just, you can let Revolution do the work, or what I would really recommend is to buy some red Chinchompas off the GE and just equip them and go into Legacy mode, because auto attacks do higher damage in Legacy mode than Momentum, and just stand underneath your cannon. You'll just have a Bone Crusher and a Demon Horn necklace equipped, and you can Soul Split. If you don't have those, just bring a bunch of food, I guess, or prayer potions, and also make sure you have your Charming Imp equipped, because they drop a lot of Crimsons. The higher level method to train range, this is faster XP but less charms, and also just about the same amount of AFK, again, depending on how much your cannon is upgraded. If you have 90 Slayer, you can come to the Mourner Tunnels. You can teleport here with an Elf Crystal. If you don't have an Elf Crystal, good luck getting down here. Well, you have to go down here the same way that you did in the quest Morning's End Part 1, so hopefully you can remember that. Just equip your Mourner robes and go down the entrance in West Arty. But you just want to set up your cannon in the middle of this room here with the Dark Beast. If you have a Helm of Darkness off the Treasure Hunter, it'll teleport you directly to this room, so that's really handy if you have that, but it's only 2 teleports a day, so make sure you use them wisely. And you can just pray magic here. If you have a Vampirism aura and if you have Sacrifice on your action bar, you should not need any food at all. If you don't have those things, then you probably just want to bring a whole bunch of sharks. If you pray mage, they really don't hit you very hard. It's only the ones that melee you that really do damage to you. So you will need to bank, just not all that often. And this is really good range XP, and really AFK as well, since you don't have to pay much attention. The cannon does not use up its cannonballs as fast versus the Dark Beast as it does against Dagannoths, because there's a lot less of them, so you'll be able to AFK even longer here. The next one on this list is woodcutting, and I really debated with leaving woodcutting off this list, but I decided not to. I was going to leave it off this list for the same reason I left fishing off this list. How could I justify leaving fishing off this list if I left woodcutting on the list? But I decided not to, because woodcutting is just the best all-around method for everyone to woodcut, because no matter who you are, you can woodcut. It hardly requires any attention, and it doesn't really require much money beyond just the first initial cost of buying a dragon hatchet. So the best way to AFK woodcutting is once you're level 94, you can cut crystal trees. How you find these is you just go to any crystal tree and you click on it and use it'll show you which direction it's pointing. It's pointing towards the crystal tree that's active, and then you can just Google crystal tree map. There's one on the RS wiki, and they're kind of all set up in a diamond, and if you just follow the direction the crystal tree is pointing you, points you to the correct one. The easiest way to check, I think, is the Brimhaven lodestone. There's one just north of that. And also, if you don't have 94 woodcutting, you can just cut ivy, and all this requires is 68 woodcutting, so really hardly any requirements at all. Really easy. Everyone knows about ivy. I probably don't have to explain this to you, but what I can explain to you is you need to cut ivy at the place just north of the cabbage patch. Just teleport with your cabbage ring, run straight north. That's where all the cool people cut ivy, so that's where I'd recommend for you to cut it. Number 3 on this list is, in my opinion, the most fun way to skill in the entire game, and this is Artisan's Workshop. So the only bad thing about Artisan's Workshop is it can cost you some money, because you need to buy ores for this, son, and that can be really expensive over a long period of time if you're making a lot of them. However, the iron equipment isn't terribly expensive to make, and this is just so AFK. As you'll see here, from when I start smithing stuff, you just click on the anvil, make sure your character is smithing, and then you can leave your computer. You can go make a sandwich, you can go take a really quick shower, I don't know, whatever you want to do, really. You can go do that, and your character will probably still be smithing when you come back, because it's about 4.5 minutes of solid AFK once you start your character smithing. Just be careful, because your character will log out soon after, because it takes so long. You get auto-logged. But just doing Artisan's Workshop, it's really quite legit, I must say, and if you can afford it and you don't mind spending the money on smithing, this is definitely the way to go. The next one on this list is melee, and the only reason why melee is this high, because the monsters that you're killing don't really drop anything cool, and they're good XP, but they're not the best XP or anything, is holy crap, this is AFK. You get like 10 minutes of solid AFK. You don't have to do anything. You can leave your computer. You can make not only one sandwich, you can make sandwiches for your whole family and still be gaining XP at the same time. So that's pretty awesome in my opinion. But how you do this is, if you have Soul Split, which requires level 92 prayer, and you have a Bone Crusher and a Demon Horn necklace, just equip all that stuff, and you might also want to equip an armor and a weapon, because I've heard that can be helpful, and just let your character go in the Taverley resource dungeon or in the regular Taverley dungeon. It's a bit better XP in the resource dungeon though. If you don't have all that fancy stuff, just equip a full set of Guthans, and you might want to check in on your character every once in a while, because Guthans, again, you might have lower defense, so you might actually take a fair amount of damage. But just let your character go at the Hellhounds, and yeah, go do whatever, but don't play RS, because you don't even need to. Number 1 on this list is just amazing, and that is magic. And of course, like anything good in this game, this does have a few requirements. For 1, you need to complete the Desert Treasure quest. For 2, you need a little bit of cash to spend on some runes. I'd recommend just using Death and Blood runes, and you do require 68 magic to use the Blood Burst, and you won't need any food or prayer or really anything at all other than just the runes and your armor and weapon. But you want to be going to the abyss with all this stuff on ancient magics and just blood burst away. You want to stand on the exact same spot that I'm standing on. You can do this at the other side of the abyss too. There's 2 spots in every world, which might come in handy because there's going to be a lot of people here as well, since this method is quite amazing. And just let your character go. You get 10 minutes of AFK just like the Hellhounds, and once they stop getting aggressive, you run all the way up to the top northern part of the abyss, and then you run all the way back and they'll be aggressive again. So very, very AFK. Also, you want to be on legacy mode for this, like I said earlier with the ranged cannoning method at the Dagannoths. Your auto attacks will hit higher in legacy mode than they will with momentum, so you want to make sure you're legacying. And it is a rare sight to see me on legacy, so relish it while it lasts. It probably won't happen again for a long time. However, this method is extremely amazing. It's really good magic XP. You can also do this with range using red Chinchompas, but it's better XP with magic because you'll hit harder. So I would recommend you training your magic and defense here if you want somewhere that's really AFK to train. Really great method, and it is amazingly AFK. That is about all for the top 10 AFK methods in my opinion to do in RS. Hopefully you found one that is going to be good for you while you're doing homework or whatever while school is going on. Also, the reason why I left out stuff like Elder Trees and Rocktails is, for 1, I'm leaving out fishing just completely, and for 2, I find stuff like Elder Trees where you can make a little bit of money but the XP is pretty horrible. I don't think those are worth it at all. It's just so much better to do something that's fast XP and use the time that you save to make money. It works a lot better that way in the long run. So that's about all for this video. Make sure to leave down in the comments what you would like to see next in the top 10 series. It can be anything RS related at all, and also check out the playlist if you haven't seen the previous top 10 videos. So that's it for me. I'm signing off. Farewell.